Hello students, now I am going to explain to you the use of teaching aids. This particular skill has 5 components: relevant to topic, appropriate to pupils' level, creates interest and thinking, proper display, which again comprises of clear and specific picture and size, and finally the 5th component, appropriate use. Now let us begin with the first component. I have chosen the poem Autumn by John Clare from class 9 to demonstrate this particular skill. Now the first component, relevant to topic. The teacher shows this picture of autumn and asks the students the following questions. The teacher asks the students, what is the most significant feature of autumn season? A student replies, falling dry leaves. The teacher says, very good. In this picture, we can see how sudden gusts of wind, sweep away the dry leaves. And in this other picture, we see how the leaves fall upon the streets and lanes, and they remain there like carpets. The teacher writes autumn and falling dry leaves on the board. Now the teacher asks another question. The teacher shows the next slide and asks, what do you see in this picture? Now the student replies, a casement. Casement. The teacher says, yes. Do you know what's a casement? A casement is a window that is attached to its frame by one or more hinges at the sides, and they open outward to the left or to the right. The teacher writes the word casement and its meaning on the board. Now we move on to the next component, appropriate to pupils' level. The teacher shows this picture and asks the students, what tree is shown in this picture? A student answers, elm tree. The teacher says, correct. One picture shows a green elm tree, and another picture shows an elm tree in autumn. And this is a third picture which shows moss upon the trunk and branches of the elm tree. So now the teacher writes on the board mossy elm tree and its meaning. Now we come to the next component, creates interest and thinking. Here the teacher shows this particular picture, and says, usually these types of cottages are called rig cottages. She also shows the picture of a sparrow sitting on a cottage and says that the sparrow sitting on a cottage roof or some kind of an external part of the building reminds us, or the chirping of the sparrow reminds us of a brisk arrival of spring, though it's not spring, but the chirping of the sparrow reminds us of spring season. Now we move on to the next component, proper display. The teacher displays the picture of smoke curling out of the chimney of a cottage and says, this picture depicts smoke curling out of a cottage chimney. But why are the trees called naked? A student replies, because they are leafless. The teacher says, very good. See the picture of a leafless bare tree. All the leaves of the trees, most of the trees fall down during autumn. So without the leaves, they look like naked trees. So the poet says that smoke curls out through the naked trees. Now we move on to the next component. This was for clear and specific picture. Now we move on to size. Now the teacher displays this particular picture, which is a little larger in size. This is a picture of a mill upon a heath, and the teacher asks, students, can you tell me what is a heath? A student replies, a heath is a tract of open and uncultivated land or a wasteland overgrown with shrubs. The teacher says, very good, and she writes the same on the board. This is what she writes on the board, heath and its meaning. Now we come to the final component, that is appropriate use. So here the teacher displays another picture and asks students, this is a picture of acorn. Can you tell me that acorn is the fruit of which tree? A student replies that acorns are the fruits of the oak tree. The teacher says, correct. The teacher writes the word acorn and oak tree on the board. Yes, and it's a fruit of the oak tree, and the teacher also adds that acorn has been known as a symbol of strength, potential, growth and eternal hope that great things are about to come. So that is all for this particular skill of using teaching aids. Thank you.